Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Sully Squad. It is officially Red October. Uh, Unbelievable game yesterday. It was one of the Sean. I think it was like one of the best playoff games I think I've ever seen. I mean, back and forth. Mets get up 3-0. Citizens Bank Park sounds like a freaking morgue. I think a lot of Philadelphia was thinking, like is this going to be a short-lived postseason run? And
Yeah.
the man of the hour, Bryce Harper, gets it all started with a big 2-run shot, and then what do you call Castellanos, Sean? Nicky
Nicky
two
three,
buttons.
baby. And Tim
What is
can
it?
Nicky three buttons.
All right, Nicky three buttons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, Castellanos had been absolutely really scuffling. I think he was like what 0 for 28 or something before he
Yeah.
got that hit.
Yeah. I
So
kept talking that shit, so I guess you must have heard me and everybody else. But
yeah.
it's true, bud. Just like you said, it was like a morgue. And once they tied that up, it's electric. And then, we'll get into it like with Diaz, Estevez. I mean, but yeah, what more to have another walk off from Nicky Three Buttons, and like he says, Tim,
Yeah,
dickhead Nick.
T-Rex Stubb says dickhead Nick. Hey, I'll tell you what, man. He could be the biggest dickhead in the history of mankind as long as he keeps hitting that ball. You know what I'm saying? That was unbelievable. And the other thing is too, man. I mean, like, that moment with his son, dude. I mean, that was like that was beautiful.
Yeah, they had like a connection. You know what I mean? It's actually like a father and son. It doesn't get no better because you live for those moments. It's just like you with your son, and like with me and G, it's different, but it's on that same level, man. Because you're in that moment, and it's something special. It's priceless, But yeah, man. Now we go up to City Field, so bring it. And that, oh my God, they could shove that up their ass.
Wait, what's this?
The oh my God stuff with the Julio Iglesias song, like that, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Hey, you know what? Hopefully hopefully Nola shuts their ass down tomorrow.
I
And
think
it's like, oh my God, I can't touch this ball. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I think he's up for the challenge. I think that's one thing that Topper did was have Sanchez start yesterday rather than tomorrow because we know his road record. Is it abysmal? Yeah, but next man up, you got Meatball Nola, so I'm hyped up.
Yeah, and to touch on yesterday, I know John Michael. He says I was there. You could have heard a pin drop before the sixth, and then the place turned into the Roman Coliseum looking for blood. Absolutely insane.
That's what's up, man. It's
And
one of the things, man.
got another T-Rex W says Nola can't serve up meatballs or we're in trouble. Agree with you there, but I actually think though that's one thing that Nola usually pitches pretty good up at Citi Field. And the other thing and the other thing about Citi Field too is that Citi Field is not the bandbox that Citizens Bank is. And I mean, Sean, you comment on it all the time. The one thing about Nola is, he's usually good for giving up at least one big bomb a game.
Yeah.
Well, Citi Field, it's a little harder to hit home runs. So hopefully, if if he does give up that bomb, you hope it's just a solo shot. You hope it's not like a 2 or 3 run shot. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think that's that thing, and they got to become they got to get up there and be ready to play small ball, not let me outdo you with the home run, just play good solid baseball, man, and I think Bohm, what's your thoughts on Bohm not starting yesterday for Edmundo Sosa? I think his hand's still bothering him. Will he say it? No, because he loves the game. But next man up mentality, man. We need that. But
Yeah. You know what? I mean, Bohm really hasn't been right since even a little bit before he hurt his hand. I mean, I think I read somewhere, I forget the exact number, but he was like 15 for his last like 90 or some shit. I mean, he was hitting like 160. Now here's hoping. Thompson already said Bohm's going to be in the lineup tomorrow night.
what else?
Um, and Bohm does hit lefties. The Mets are going with Sean Manaea. And the last time Sean Manaea pitched against the Phillies in the playoffs was a couple years ago with San Diego, and the Phillies shelled his ass.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, I got a question. Yeah, I got a question for you because, like, Bryson Stott has been kind of struggling, but he came up with a huge hit yesterday. Based on the fact the Mets are starting a lefty, do you think that it wouldn't? I think Sosa actually has really good numbers off Manaea, so Stott may take the bench tomorrow.
So be it. Do
Yeah,
it.
it wouldn't shock me if Sosa played. And if that's the case, you're going against a tough lefty. There's only going to be two lefties in the lineup. I think you got Schwarber. You're not taking him out, and you got Bryce, but the rest of the lineup's going to be all right-handed, and hopefully, hopefully they could get to Manaea early and often. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You couldn't have said it better.
Got another comment here. John Michael says our starters haven't been the problem. Obviously, it was the bats, but even bigger concern to me is all of a sudden the bullpen is struggling. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest struggle. I mean, what was your thoughts yesterday? Because I know Strom closed Game 4 last year versus Atlanta, but really Strom is Strom's never a closer. Really, I kind of. I don't think Thompson did too many things that I would second guess him on, but having Strom close yesterday, I just didn't get that. I don't know why you use Strom in that situation.
I totally agree with you. I wasn't even going to text you yesterday. I don't agree with it. I don't get it. You get this guy Estevez who's pitching great
Right.
out here, high 90s, on point. And then you put him in, and Hoffman. He to me, Estevez is the closer. And then you go Strom, Hoffman, or whatever. Pick your poison. And even where's Alvarado been?
Just
saying. But a lot of people, like I was listening to Farzi's podcast. Where has he been? Maybe they have him, for some other role, But I wouldn't mind putting him in the mix, but just like you said, I didn't like the fact that Topper put Strom in a closer and Hoffman. You should have, but it is what it is. But he plays that analytic bullshit that me and you don't care for, because we're old school. What's up, Fuge?
Yeah, what's up, brother? And then he says, Ranger for Game 4. Yeah, I mean, I'm extremely concerned about that because now, I'll preface this by saying, I mean, the last couple postseasons, Ranger's been lights out. I mean, Ranger has great numbers in the postseason, but he's really struggled his last like 2-3 months. And it makes you wonder, like, is his back all right? Because he's had a hard time finishing his pitches, and it makes tomorrow night's game be so much more important because all of a sudden, if you don't win tomorrow night, then you got Ranger, who's obviously kind of banged up, pitching for your season in Game 4, and I really want no parts of that. I mean, tomorrow, I'm gonna say it right now, dude. I think tomorrow night's game's a must win. I think the Phillies got to get up 2-1. Then in Game 4, you got Ranger going. Ranger's gonna be around the plate. Maybe his stuff. Sometimes he could get guys to chase. Well, if the Mets are going down there down 2-1, they might be gripping that bat a little bit hard because they're fighting for elimination, which would allow them to chase some pitches and help Ranger out. So I think tomorrow night's absolutely huge.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Back the Ranger, I hope he can get his velocity up because due to his back, whatever problem, even him getting hit in the hand, is that a kind of a problem for him? But first and foremost, like you said, tomorrow night we got to bring the bats and have a solid pitching from Nola on down to the bullpen.
Yeah.
I think that can happen. And I don't want to see Topper with the analytic bullshit. Like, what was your thoughts on like kind of switching these players out, like musical chairs, like Cody Clemens? I like Cody Clemens being in there, but then you had Austin Hayes, who's been battling pneumonia, kidney stones, and whatnot. But it's like something's got to give. But
I mean, my only problem with Topper was using Strom in the closing situation. I liked what he did with the lineup. Because if you remember, you go back to the postseason last year. I mean, we were all screaming at the TV like begging him to pinch hit for Rojas. I was drawing a blank. Rojas. Yeah. We were begging him to pinch hit for Rojas. Now, yesterday, not saying that Rojas was the problem, because in all honesty, Rojas actually hasn't been that bad.
No.
But I like the fact that he's using Cody Clemens. I kind of like Cody Clemens. He's got some spunk to him. He works a count. He battles up there. It wouldn't shock me if Cody Clemens, maybe came through at some point in these playoffs, and you look back and say, "Oh wow, that was the Cody Clemens game. He came up with a huge hit."
See that because he has that. He has that like a couple game-winning games in the regular season. You know what I mean? And yeah, he brings a lot to the table. The pedigree of his father being a major league player, but just him trying to create his own niche. I think he's doing a hell of a job. I like him. I like his fire, his tenacity, and like you said, what he brings up in the batter's box. So
yeah. What do you think? Got John Michael with a comment, kind of getting back to the closer situation. He says, what was the point of getting Estevez if you're going to use Strom against two righties and a switch hitter in Lindor? Yeah, I
couldn't agree more.
I didn't get that. Evan Laura with a comment here. He says, I'm surprised nobody's taking a flyer on Trevor Bauer. Dude is balling in Mexico. I'd sign him just for the next season. Yeah, I mean that's obviously off the field. It's got to be off the field stuff. I mean,
I read it's like what Evan's saying. I think it's just his attitude. Like how he comes off. And, he got mistakenly accused of 3-4 letter word. But I mean, all in all, he pitches lights out. Like he's doing great in the Mexican League, but
right.
Yes, once you get tarnished with that label on you, it's like short and sweet. Look at your Ray Rice, those guys. Like, are they in the league? Oakman, nah, because nobody wants to have that on their team or be labeled with that. But Bauer is a hell of a pitcher. I'd like to see him pitch, but maybe here, who knows? But yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah, the Mexican League. What the hell was that? What's that show on HBO with the pitcher dude?
Out and out, and yeah.
What's his name? You remember? I gotta look that John up. But anyway, he pitched good. He pitched good in the Mexican League too. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. You know what I mean? Like, but no. All kidding aside, I mean, I agree with Evan, and it is a shame because like. He was found. I believe he was found like innocent of that accusation.
Of the accusation, yeah.
Oh, here we go. John Michael's got the Kenny Powers. There you go.
Yeah.
Kenny Powers was good in the Mexican League
with the mullet.
Yeah, Kenny Powers. You know what's funny? Kenny Powers would have fit in with the '93 Phillies. Like he looked like he should have been out there pitching.
I think he would have fit in with that. Okay. Must win.
Fuji says, must win the more. Wouldn't you rather go with Wheeler on Wednesday and have Ranger out of the bullpen, or just go Wheeler in Game 5 if necessary?
Mm,
Uh, well, if Wheeler goes Wednesday, he's going on 3 days rest. I mean, I would be all right with it, but the only thing I'll say is that and I'm not necessarily a numbers guy, but
mm,
if you look at postseason history, a lot of times when guys go on 3 days rest, it actually backfires. If you look at it throughout history, many times, and the other thing is too, Wheeler went what 110 pitches on Saturday.
believe so. Pitched that gem and we shit the bed for him. Yeah, you're right.
Right. Right. So my only concern with that is that, you go balls to the wall with Wheeler on Wednesday night. He's pitching on 3 days rest, coming off 110 pitches. And again, Sean, I'm old school, dude. I mean, I remember Kurt Schilling throwing 140 pitches and being
Yeah.
fine. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to sound like a wimp, but I do think that if you look at the numbers, a lot of times it does backfire. I've seen it many times. Like I've seen Kershaw go on 3 days rest, gets rocked. I've seen, I think one time,
I think Earl Horkheiser. Yeah, like yeah, top notch pitchers. But back to what he's saying, if need be, I would say to Wheeler, how are you feeling? How's your arm? If it's that must win, but like we said, we have Ranger. I think Ranger's going to be up for the task. These guys are riding high after what happened yesterday, and hopefully momentum Tuesday night, and I think Wednesday night as well, right?
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now here's a question, because I don't think he would start Wheeler. Here's one though. Here's what I would consider though. If it's game 4, sixth, seventh inning, Philly's got a 1 or 2 run lead. To answer Mike's question, I may consider putting Wheeler in and trying to close that joint out and go for the jugular right there. Now I might consider. You know what I mean? Because then you're not really burning. You're not burning Wheeler as a starter, but you're not necessarily having him start the game. But if you see a chance to straight up win the series, and he can give you a couple 2-3 innings and close that joint out, that I might consider.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah. I just want and I hope these guys play like what Arizona did to us. Good small ball, not smash brothers, hit it out of the park. Just play that good ball and good defense,
Yeah, well, the one thing we got to give the Phillies credit on there, the defense was excellent yesterday.
Well, Birthday Boy showed up with a hell of a catch by him, But yeah, you're right. They did. And Castellanos' catch almost reminded me of last year, like with the Braves series. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about, coming up in the big moments,
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I mean, how Castellanos is, bro. I mean, he could go like 3 weeks with never even getting a hit. He could literally go from looking like the worst player in the history of baseball to all of a sudden putting up numbers like friggin' Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like look at the playoffs last year. I mean, the series versus Atlanta.
Yeah.
Dude hits what, 4 homers in 2 days?
Yep.
Practically, is a big part of winning games 3 and 4. And then all of a sudden against Arizona, he couldn't hit a medicine ball.
True.
So he's the good thing is though, if here's hoping that for the next 4 or 5 games, the next couple in this series and then the first few at least in the NLCS, if we're lucky enough to move on, here's hoping that he's on that hot streak, because the one thing is, I mean, you saw they were trying to pitch around like game 1. I don't think Harper got 1 pitch to hit in game 1 because they knew Castellanos didn't have it. And even the start of yesterday, they were afraid to pitch to Harper. And now you got Casty going. So now the Mets might have to sit there and think, hey, you know what? Maybe we don't want to pitch around Harper because now we're going to have Harper on base and we got a hot Castellanos.
Yeah. I don't want to see no damn golf swings by him either. I want to see good swings.
I agree with this with John Michael. He says the Phillies have to let the next guy be the hero. Take pitches and get on base however you can. That's how playoff baseball is. That's how you win.
Couldn't agree more.
I mean, let's think about it. How many years do you watch playoff baseball? And of course, a lot of times it's your stars. But how many times do you see guys that like you've never heard of have like the biggest playoff moment ever? I mean, you look like close your ears, Red Sox fans. But I could go back to the one-game playoff, Bucky effing Dent, right? 2003, Aaron effing Boone. You know what I'm saying? Like many times it's dudes that you wouldn't even think of. You know what I'm saying? Like coming up with like the huge moment, the huge hit. Yeah, Mike Fuji says the unsung heroes always come through. I'll go back one member, 92, Braves Pirates, that great 7-game series. Francisco Liriano gets the big hit up the middle, and old slow ass Sid Bream sneaks his ass in there right ahead of the tag, and the Braves make the World Series. Who the hell, dude? Has anybody even seen Francisco Liriano since that year? I mean, I think he's on a milk carton, but he had a huge moment. You know what I'm saying? Oh, John Michael with oh God. Cody Ross. Oh, remember what he did to us in 2010? I hated that freaking prick.
Yeah.
I mean, he destroyed us, bro.
Yes.
To Phillies fans, he's Cody effing Ross. You know.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy, man. But all right, you know what? All right, you know what? Based on the unsung hero theory. So let's really look at tomorrow night's game. It looks like I almost said Francisco Liriano. He's on my brain. He ain't playing nowhere. I don't even know if he's still alive. But anyway, right. So tomorrow night, going against the lefty, I'm going out on a limb. I think tomorrow night is going to be the Austin Hayes night. I think Austin Hayes is going to have a big moment for the Phillies, maybe a big hit or two. I'm going out on a limb. I think tomorrow night's the Austin Hayes night. Do you have any unsung players you want to put them on the table and call out?
Cody Clemens, baby.
Cody, oh, okay. I mean, I don't think he's going to start. What do you think? He's going to have a big pinch hit?
Yeah, I think he's going to have a big pinch hit. And if you hear me, Captain Caveman, come on, man. Right?
Who's Captain Caveman?
Brandon Marsh.
All right. Well, he probably would pinch hit too. I think the fact they're going against the lefty, it wouldn't shock me if Marsh is on the bench. But you're right, though, Sean. I mean, they could bring him in a big spot. You know what I mean?
You know, that's what I'm hoping for. You know, Hayes or Captain Caveman Marsh. So,
yeah, here's one. Mike Fuji, 1980 pinch hitter extraordinaire, Del Unser. Yeah, Del Unser came up with some big moments in 1980. But hey, by the way, speaking of that 80 team, speaking of that 80 team, I mean, RIP to Pete Rose. I mean, I know Pete Rose was a, controversial figure. He had a lot of, I mean, with the gambling and certain other demons or whatever.
Yeah.
But
his stats, Joey, we know.
Yes.
Know baseball. Like I was watching a reel, dude, 7 times, like 25, like years in the league. With the Big Red Machine, Phillies, all-time leader in hits. He's going to be there for a long time. Just the way switch hitter. I mean, go on and on. But wow, now you want to talk about a guy that you wanted to hustle and kind of emulate your game to him.
Well, all you have to do is talk to Mike Schmidt about the impact that he made on Mike Schmidt's career. You know what I mean? Because not only on the field, but Pete Rose came to this Philadelphia Phillies team, and you look at Sean, like you and I were a little too young for that team, But, looking at it historically, I mean, you figure they won the division in 76, 77, 78, lost in the playoffs each year. They go and sign Pete Rose before the 79 season. And, Mike Schmidt will straight up tell you, Pete Rose got in his ear and basically just told him, he's like, dude, he's like, you're the best player on this team. And he brought, he brought a great winning mentality. And, you could say whatever you want about Pete, man. I mean, on that field, dude, the guy was a winner. He was on great teams. He always hustled. He brought a winning mentality, and I missed it Saturday, but my girlfriend had told me that there was a great special before the Phillies game, and so I want to try to see if I could Google it. I don't know if anybody out there had seen it, but supposedly there was like a really good special on Pete Rose. Kind of like, I don't know if it was a tribute or it went into like the whole story of Pete Rose. I really want to see it. I heard it's really good.
Yeah, I've seen it. I think it just goes through the years of, him playing baseball, Reds, etc. But yeah, I mean, he was one hell of a player, dude. Like, you want a kid to emulate all the baseball stuff, what's supposed to being a player, it's him. Even how he was breaking it down with Frank Thomas. If I have it, I think I might have sent it to you, or I might not have.
Oh, no, you did, Sean. It was Frank Thomas and Alex Rodriguez. I think it was
in the box in the middle.
It was great. It was really interesting. Yeah, he was basically like you said, he was talking about what you do to get out of a slump. And he basically said, there's 6 things you do. You choke up on the bat, choke, you know what I mean? Like move up. Yeah, it was really interesting.
And like what size bat he used. I mean, the dude was awesome. Like, everything you want to being a baseball player. Minus the bad stuff, but hey. He was a hustler.
You know what? Show me a perfect person, and you know what? Let's keep it real. I mean, when
Bonds can say,
I'm sorry, yeah, sports isn't made of choir boys. There's stories out there. All right, the man gambled. Okay, you know what? There's people that have done a lot worse things out there. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sorry, like. In my opinion, the guy deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And you know what? Hey, in honor of Pete Rose, and I swear I don't mean this in a prick way because I like Pete Rose, but in honor of Pete Rose, what's Vegas setting the over-under when he gets in the Hall of Fame, Sean? What's the over-under, bro? Come on, in honor of Pete Rose, we got to get that in there.
They were saying probably I say
5 years, 10 years. What do you think?
I think shorter, 2 or 3. 2 or 3.
Yeah, you know what? What do you think? Let me ask you a question. So, if he had come out from the very beginning, and like and instead of denying it all those years, if he had come out and was like, "Hey, look, you know what? I messed up. I never bet on my team, but I messed up. I made a mistake." What did all that shit came out? What, like about I think it was like 88, 89, right? Something like that. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So if he does that, would he have been put in when he was alive? What do you think?
Nah, because the way the steroid era is with Bonds and all, he should, but no.
Yeah.
Nah, it's a slap in the face to him. And like Fuji's with me 2 to 3 years. Yeah.
All right, 3 years. All right, you know what? So in honor of that, yeah, let's do like a pizza bet or something, right? I mean, come on, it's Pete Rose, bro. We got to do it here. Fuji says Pete admitted the truth in 2004. Here, got another comment here. John Michael says, by the way, off topic, but there's an incredible game going on now between Cleveland and Detroit. Yeah, John, I actually got it on. I got it on right. Yeah, pitcher's duel 0-0. Well, that kid Scooble pitched for Detroit, man. That kid's on.
Young baby, he's winning for them. Yeah.
15 years later. Oh, I got it. Yeah, in 2004, he admitted it 15 years later. John Michael says, John Michael says, Otani said Pete Rose really helped him by telling him always take the over and believe in yourself. Oh man. Hey, you know what? Or like or in roulette, like Wesley Snipes says, bro, always bet on black. You know what I'm saying? You're doing black or red, bro. Always bet on black. That's a little Wesley Snipes advice for you, you know?
Wow.
Nah, man, but like I said, man, the guy, I think the dude belongs there, dude. So we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe within like 5 to 10 years he gets in, you know. And I'm an advocate of all them dudes getting in. I'm sorry, I don't give a shit. Barry Bonds maybe it's sacrilegious. I know McGuire cheated supposedly. You know, McGuire, Bonds. Clemens. You know what? A lot of them dudes were cheating. Sean, remember it came out that David Bell was cheating? You know what, dude? David Bell was cheating, bro. He didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? He had one great game. He hit for the cycle here in Philly or whatever. So bottom line is you still got to hit that ball, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So I mean, even like the crappiest players were doing stuff back then. You know, there was a culture of it in baseball.
If you didn't do it, you knew of it. So,
tell you what, though, I mean, you know, you look at when you think about what those dudes were doing, though, and then you look at like what an Otani's doing now and like what an Aaron Judge is doing. It actually, that's one thing I will say though, Judge and Otani, like when you look at the numbers they're putting up, it's even more impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, I mean,
eye-opening.
I mean. You know, you look at a guy like Aaron Judge. What did he hit? Like 60? What he hit over 60 homers like last year, right? Was it last year or the year before? I forget.
Last year, and now what do you have? Like 58 this season?
Yeah, I mean the dude's incredible, man. And then Otani, I mean, he's like the modern day Babe Ruth. I mean, this guy, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I know he couldn't pitch this year, but he's probably going to pitch next year. So. You know, you look how good this Dodgers team is, and next year you're going to add him to the rotation probably, you know, even if it's halfway through the year, and they're going to be even that much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I keep him as a hitter. Not
well, he is going to be a hitter, but I'm saying he pitch every fifth day too.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's all right, so we went into unsung guys.
Yes.
Let's predict. You know what? I'll tell you what. Let's predict the rest of the series, and then the other series that are going on. So, heart to heart, Sean. 1-1 Phillies Mets. How many games is it going? Who's winning the series? What's going to happen?
We're winning Phillies in 5.
Phillies in 5. Well, I'll tell you what, there'll be a lot of tight sphincters here in Philadelphia on Friday night. But hey, as long as we win, we can deal with it, right?
Yeah.
All right. How about Cleveland Detroit series? Right now, Cleveland's up 1-0 in the series. It's 0-0, top 9. So what do you think of this series, Detroit Cleveland?
I think Cleveland sweeps them.
Okay. How about Padres Dodgers? That series is 1-1.
Whew, man.
That's a tough one.
That is. That really, really is.
That Padres team's no joke, man.
I think the Padres eke it out.
Okay.
Yeah, and win the season.
All right, so in the National League, you have a rematch of 2022. You got San Diego and Philly. The only difference is we have home field this time. How about Yanks Royals? Who's winning that, John?
I love to say the Royals, but something about this damn just like you brought up with 09, I see them winning the series.
Who? The Yanks?
Yes.
All right, so then you got Yanks Cleveland.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Fuji must be talking about Friday night. He said, go to a proctologist as long as it ain't Diddy.
Thank you. No baby oil.
Yeah, I'm all right on that, John.
Uh,
All right, so I'm going to go. Here, let me get to John Michael here. John Michael says Padres are going to win that series and Phillies in 4.
okay.
You know what? I'm with John. I actually think the Phillies win the next 2, and
Okay.
thank God, because my heart can't take a game 5, because the last time I remember an NLDS game 5 at home, it's the 1-0 Roy Halladay game, and I do not want to experience that shit again. In fact, I remember being at John Michael's house. We had plans. We were going to go to Finnegan's Wake after the game.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right. Well, the Phillies are going to win this, John. Going to go to Finnegan, celebrate. We literally sat there in stone silence watching the game. The Phillies couldn't even score one friggin' run. It was basically just like Saturday. And then we looked at each other and we're like, I was like, I'm going home. I had no, dude, zero desire to go to Finnegan's Wake that night. So I'm going to say, yeah, so I got Phil's Padres.
Okay.
I'm going to say Cleveland. I think Cleveland beats Detroit in 4. I think Detroit finds a way to win one of these Johns. And I like the Yanks in 4. So I think you'll see Yanks, Cleveland, Phil's Padres, and then when we're on next week, we'll make the NLCS, the League Championship Series predictions.
All right.
I got another comment here. John Michael says Mets magic is over, and Grimace can blow me and Diddy.
Yeah. 3 more. It's, whatever.
Yeah, what's up? I know. What's up with this corny Grimace crap? Like, what's this story about Grimace, dude?
Who knows? Who cares? It's something that I'd rather not know, but whatever. Like a purple dildo. For hands. So yeah.
Hey, you know what? We're going the fanatic over Grimace any day of the week. Grimace is corny.
Absolutely. Or Mr. Med and Mrs. Med. Come on, man. Nah, ain't happening. So
yeah. So well, we will see. So that's the hang on. Sorry, I got distracted. Detroit just hit a 3-run shot. Detroit's wow, nice. That dude off a chase too. That's Cleveland's closer. Dude, Kerry Corp. You know what's fun? You know what's cool about Detroit? Like, there's such a great story. Like, some dude named Kerry Carpenter just hit a 3-run homer. I have no idea who the hell that dude is. But
I tell you right now, I had him in fantasy. He's an unsung hero. That's what he is. He's the unsung hero. And
you know what? You know what's funny, brother? Other than Detroit fans and like his parents, you're like the one dude that probably knows who he is. No, I'm just playing. I didn't know him.
Go Kerry.
All right, cool. Well, Kerry Carpenter just broke this John open. So, but you know how playoff baseball is, though.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you still never count. Like I wouldn't count Cleveland out, man, because like how many times do you see a team get like 3 in the top of the inning, and next thing you know what I mean? The other team comes back.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, you know what, Sean? Let me tell you about actually a guy that should be a household name if he's not. My man Jason Fine, a.k.a. Attorney Big Al. Now, if you're out there, say you're out there, you're lifting something, you get yourself hurt on the job, you want to get yourself paid, make sure you call my man Jason Fine. Motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or, like I said, personal injury claim. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia, PA, 1 in Cherry Hill, and 1 in Pittsburgh. So make sure you call my man. He'll get you paid. He'll get you a lot more than a 40-ounce, Sean.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Although I'll tell you what, if it goes to Game 5, man, the 40 ounces might be flowing, bro. Actually, you know what? Strike that. Might need some to try to get through that game. You might need a couple shots, dude. Sean? And all right. So when you watch the game, if you want to have a little buzz and you're a little nervous, do you have a go-to, or you just have a couple beers?
Just a couple beers.
Yeah, that's me. I like to actually remember what's going on. You know what I mean? But it The nerves would definitely make you. There'll be a lot of people probably imbibing down at the game.
Yeah, exactly. The shots and liquor. That's the old stuff. I want to remember the game.
Oh, and you know what I got to tell you too?
Yeah.
The one thing that gave me hope, the one thing that gave me the greatest hope yesterday was when John, remember the mush himself said that the series was over. Yeah. And I literally, I think I screenshotted it and sent it to like John. Did I send it to you or you saw it on your own?
To me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, there's hope. And the next thing you know, they came back, dude. Ain't that amazing?
He probably took a nap and then, started writing on the keyboard, but keep it going, Mush, keep it going.
Yeah. Well, he's got to keep that energy because otherwise we got to lock the phone from him because, if he goes out and says the Phillies are going to win, then we're screwed.
Nah. Just shut your mouth and keep doing what you're doing.
Why I'll never forgive him for 2011.
Phillies were up
4-0 with Cliff Lee on the mound, and 4-0. Cliff Lee's on the mound. It looks like we're going to sweep St. Louis, and he literally texts and says the series is over. St. Louis immediately scores like 5 runs and we lose. So just stop. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, all right. Well, listen. Not I know the Eagles were off yesterday, but there is a little football we could get into here. No Eagles, but it looks like for next week, Lane Johnson's going to be back, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, so we should have a full complement of players.
Right.
And did you see any of that Browns game versus Washington? I mean, the Browns blow.
The Browns suck.
Right.
Watson should just go into the school for massage, just like what he likes and loves, because he blows. But Washington, watch out, man. Damn.
Oh, man. John Michael says, I'm surprised John took a break from his workout to post. The guy is an Adonis.
There's a body and he's so well together. But
all right, but
Washington, Jalen Daniels, the tandem of Brian Robinson, Eckler, and I can't stand seeing them on there. Ertz, Terry McLaurin. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn, man, they got this team balling, man. So watch out. I'm not taking them lightly. They always have our number.
They do. They look tough. I mean, they're going to be a factor, I think, all year.
Mm-hmm.
But the one encouraging thing that I took from it is, at least the Eagles are going to be healthy next year. You got Cleveland coming in, a healthy team. I mean, I got to be honest with you, Sean. I think the line's already 8.5. I mean, if the Eagles don't smack them around by at least about 2 touchdowns, and if Jalen Hurts doesn't look like for instance, if Jalen Hurts has a couple turnovers against the Browns with the way they're playing, and this is a close game, my concern level is through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn right. A lot of finger pointing. He better get his head out of his ass. Stop with the peaky blinders. You got Dallas, AJ, Devontae.
Yeah.
You got all these guys. Stop looking at one individual player. You don't see it. You don't see it with Jalen Daniels and Mahomes and all the other guys. They spread all out. And he's just got blinders. It's like, oh, okay, him. No.
Yeah.
That's going to be his demise. I'm hoping him as an athlete, he changes it sooner than later. Or it's going to be curtains for him, Wentz 2.0.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll
Like I
see.
said, we'll see what happens. I mean, because I'm expecting an easy win.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you should expect easy wins in the NFL, especially with the way our defense. I'd be highly disappointed if this isn't a nice rocking chair ride.
So,
What do you think of this? John Michael says Jalen can't read a defense.
looking that way, shit. You know. You know.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely you know uh definitely hoping for improvement for
Oh,
next week. I mean
absolutely.
bottom line is just got to cut back on the turnovers.
And take
Um,
accountability. Say I screwed up. Stop with all this. I got to do better. You're like a broken damn record, dude. You've been in the league how long? Shape up.
I mean, you got to think what 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. This is
Look,
fifth year in the league, so
no excuses. None. None whatsoever. I don't want to hear nothing.
yeah. So hopefully it's a rocking chair ride next week. With full complement of players, they come out, have a nice performance. Anything strike you about in general about the league? I know. From 4 o'clock on, I was totally focused on the Phillies, but like just looking around the league, I mean, first, hey, how about the 49ers blowing another lead? That's 3 losses for the 49ers now.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. How about did you watch any of the London game? Vikings?
Little bit. I'll tell you, I hate to say it as a guy that kind of is a little partial to the Jets at times. As on the side,
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers looks a little washed to me.
Oh, yeah. I think he got hit and brought down to earth. He kind of got hit pretty good, but he got hit hard, went back in the next series. But yeah, that team. Who else? Lamar Jackson thrown for 5 TDs and running a couple in.
I'll tell you what, that was a hell of a game, man. I mean, you talk about a back and forth game, like
Yeah.
that was that kind of reminded me of our Super Bowl in 17. Remember when nobody could get a stop? It was literally like up and
Yeah.
down the field. I mean, that was a hell of a game.
Yeah. If another thought, where do you think Devontae Adams gets traded to? I know they're talking his contract, but I'm hearing Dallas, Jets. I'm hearing Washington. In a reunion with the
Like,
Jets with Rodgers. So
I'll tell you what, I don't want him going to Washington or Dallas. That's for sure.
I don't see him.
Um, you know, I was. I mean, the rumor is that he wants to go to the Jets because he wants to play with Aaron Rodgers again.
Yeah.
So that's the rumor. Supposedly maybe Pittsburgh because dude. Well, I mean, I fell asleep on that game last night, but you could clearly see Pittsburgh needs a wide receiver. I mean, they're having a lot of issues with their receivers, and the kid Pickens is in the doghouse like constantly. He must. I think it's like attitude type stuff. So they
Oh,
really need a receiver out there in Pittsburgh.
he had that in Georgia. Yeah. He's like a little kid with a temper tantrum. But boy, does he have talent.
Yeah, I mean, if someone could get the talent out of him, he's a very talented player. But it just seems like he just can't put it together. He's constantly arguing with people, constantly causing problems. I mean, it seems like the kid's like a diva to the max. I'm telling you another thing that stuck out. I'll tell you what. After kind of a rocky start, Caleb Williams looks like he's starting to get it together.
But yeah.
Caleb Williams is getting it together. They looked. I mean, I know it was Carolina blows, but Caleb Williams looked pretty good. How about the Thursday night game, dude? Tampa and Atlanta. I mean, Kurt. Remember when they used to say primetime Kirk Cousins would not prime. Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins looks pretty good in prime time this year, man.
509 yards, man. I think that says a lot,
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a shame. I was hoping that Pittsburgh would do us a solid and knock Dallas off last night, but
Yeah.
Dallas with a big comeback. I'll tell you one game that really surprised me. Not that Seattle's that great of a team, but boy, I mean, the Giants went out to Seattle and beat them there, and I don't even think Neighbors didn't even play, and I think Singletary was out.
Yeah, it was, I think the Wandell Robinson show, and yeah. What about Josh Allen? Didn't he get rocked?
Yeah, that was they had a nice comeback. I think Houston had a nice lead. Bills came back, and then Houston beat them on like a 59-yard field goal as like time expired. Here's one, because I know the Flyers, I want to get into some Flyers talk as the weeks come, because the Flyers are about to start. But Ken Fry with a comment here. He says, "What's up, fellas? What are you guys expecting from the Flyers this season? Played well last season." Well, Ken, to answer your question, the Russian kid Michkov looks tremendous. The Flyers have a lot of young talent. What I'm expecting, honestly, is I'm not expecting a contender, but I'm hoping that maybe this year could be the year that they maybe sneak into the playoffs, get some of these young guys experience, and then they have a lot of cap space coming up after this season. And they also have, like Sean, I think they have at least I think they have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, something like that. So, if they don't get a top pick, maybe they could package a few of those picks, move up into the draft, or maybe, I'm expecting maybe a playoff spot. What are you thinking, Sean?
I'm right there with you, man. Michkov, this kid's special. They said like almost like exciting as Lindros and all that other stuff. I mean, you got Konechny, you got Farabee, you got Frost. It's going to be an exciting team, like you said. And I'm looking forward to it. And I had a fancy hockey draft. I took Konechny and Michkov.
Okay.
So,
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, here's hoping the 2 of those guys on the power play unit could do tons of damage. And yeah, like you said, man, the Flyers got some young talent. I mean, with Michkov coming over, this team has 2 pretty good, solid lines.
yeah.
I think they could use a number 1 defenseman. So going forward, if you want them to get to the contention level, I think this team eventually needs a number 1 defenseman and probably a real legit number 1 center, to center like a Michkov line. I mean, I know you got Couturier doing it now, and he's a vet, but this team, I mean, so I'm hoping playoffs this year, maybe next offseason, whether it's through the draft or possibly a trade, because that's the other thing. Danny Briere's done a great job accumulating these assets, and the fact they do have all these picks, and when they do get cap space, maybe you get your number 1 defenseman or number 1 center using some of these assets. Maybe you package a few of these picks and a couple young players, and you get yourself that stud, and then you're cooking with gas. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
But yeah, I know the Flyers are starting regular season. I think it's this week coming up, and then you got Sixers start the preseason. I think it's tonight. So, real exciting times coming up in Philadelphia sports. I mean, we're definitely not going to lack for things to talk about. But I mean, obviously we need the baseball team to stay alive, because I'm not ready for this run to end.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more, man. Let's go Fightins and beat those Inland Steamer Browns, But yeah. So
yeah, definitely. Detroit wound up holding on. So that series is 1-1. So it's at least going 4.
Okay.
So hey, who knows? I mean, this I tell you, this Tigers team is really spunky, man.
2%. That's what they are, the 2%ers, like they say on one of the shirts they have. You know, they got that fight in them, man. You know, especially the hitters, Riley Green, you know,
Yeah.
Verling, who else? There's just a whole like a bunch of guys on that team. You know, they bring it.
That's a trade I was wrong on. I remember a couple off seasons ago, I think the Phillies traded, what was it, Verling and I think Maton or something to Detroit, and they got Soto, and that move didn't work out because honestly, I wouldn't mind having Verling as a right-handed bat on our team right now.
Mm-hmm.
Verling's got it has nice little. He's played pretty well for Detroit.
He's starting right field, man. Says a lot.
Yeah, here's my man Ken. Ken's a great dude. But he's kind of our mortal enemy this week because Ken is like a huge Mets fan. And I will say, Ken does a great show on Wednesday mornings called The Bat Cave, and it's all about the Mets or whatever. And so even though obviously we're rooting for the Phillies, but I like getting other teams' perspectives. So if you want to get a Mets perspective on this series, make sure you check out Ken's show. It's really good. But he says he hopes it goes 5. I don't, Ken. I'm hoping we beat you guys the next 2. But if it goes 5, hey, it goes 5. You know what I mean? And I will say that you guys are definitely a formidable foe. And Christ, I mean, I feel like the Mets are like Jason. I mean, you just can't kill these guys. I mean, the Phillies had that great comeback. They're up 6-4, and the the third baseman, what's his name? Vientos, right?
Vientos.
You talk about a guy that kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, he's a young guy, 24 years old. I mean, regardless of what happens in this series, the future looks like it's very bright up in New York. You know what I mean?
Well, the funny thing you say about him, maybe Ken could talk about it. Beatty, he was supposed to be the next third baseman and all this, and I think he got hurt, and this Vientos kid got brought up, and he's been lights out ever since.
Yeah, you might as well change Beatty's name to Wally Pip.
Yeah.
He's done. You know what I mean? Yeah, Ken's a really good dude, though. We actually did because I want to do another old. Sean, I really got to get the old school coming back. But Ken and I did an old school on the '80s Mets, and obviously not a Mets fan, but it was really interesting doing that show. Just we basically broke down the whole decade, up until the '86 team, and then even the few years afterwards where they had those great teams and they lost in the playoffs, and then they traded Dykstra and all. I love doing shows like that because I like to see like the rise and fall of a franchise. You know what I mean? Here, he answered your question right here. It says Beatty was awful at the plate and Vientos blew by him.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, as a Phillies fan, every time that Vientos comes up, man, I'm scared, dude. That dude's like the he's a breakout star. Every playoffs, it seems like you get a young guy that looks like a breakout star, and he looks like one of those guys this year. So, obviously, Sean, we're hoping he's only got 2 more games, but he's,
proven, man,
he's playing well. And I'm looking at it right here. Matt Verling was 2 for 3 with a double and 2 walks. So, Dave Dombrowski's done a really good job for the Phillies in general, but that's definitely a trade he missed on. And especially if the Phillies lose, one could argue that maybe Dombrowski didn't quite do enough at the trade deadline this year. You could.
I said they did more, but they didn't. But whatever, remains to be seen.
Yeah. So, but he is a hell of a GM. But hey, even the great ones miss at times. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, but all right. Well, let's get ready. Oh, you know what? One more thing before we get out. Tonight's game, Saints Chiefs. What's your thoughts on that? Hang on, let me get the line on this, John. Is there any thoughts on this game tonight as far as like who you like? Any cool prop bets? Any fantasy? Hang on, I'll tell you the line. So you got Chiefs are favored by 5.5. Money line is minus 235. Over under is 43.5. Interesting. You got two pretty good defensive teams. I mean, it's ironic because a team with Pat Mahomes, who's arguably could possibly become the GOAT if he wins a couple more Super Bowls, has kind of become a defensive team.
Mm-hmm. I see the Chiefs winning.
What's that?
Chiefs winning.
Chiefs winning?
Yeah.
Are they covering? It's 5.5.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think of the over/under?
Over.
Okay. All right.
And time touchdown by Rice, Kelsey, and Mahomes.
Well, John Michael's hoping for John Michael's hoping for Kelsey. He goes, "Can I get a freaking touchdown from that beta Kelsey? Because he's my tight end."
Yeah.
You know what, John? You know, I'm feeling you're getting one tonight, brother. I think Kelsey scores. I like the Chiefs. You know what? I actually like the Saints to cover. I like the Chiefs in like a 24-20. So that would be a Saints cover and just barely over. It's like it isn't amazing. Vegas is always like right on the line because they got 43.5, and I'm thinking it goes 44. You know what I'm saying? Like they're always right there.
True.
You know, that's what I always say. That's what I always say to people. You know what I mean? Out there that you know that think they can like you know like make it with bets or whatever. Like those big ass casinos didn't build themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You got that.
Right, one more here. John Michael says, "I'm down 8 points with only him left to play. Maybe his girl will let him catch one."
I'm hoping Bear shits the bed. I'm playing against him. I have nobody, but I'm winning. So
well, my dumb ass is like the worst manager in the history of mankind, Sean. So every week I've been playing Garrett Wilson, and he hadn't done anything pretty much all year. And I've had Jaden Reed on the bench, and Jaden Reed looks pretty good for Green Bay. So my receivers in this one league are Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Jaden Reed, and I got Brian Thomas of Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I can only play 3 because I could have one as a flex. So I decided this was going to be the week I sat Garrett Wilson. He had like 33 points. So what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm I don't know who's like a terrible coach. I'm Brandon Staley. Remember the dude from the Chargers last year? It was trash. They lost like 70-0 his last game, or 70-6 or something. That's who I am. I'm Brandon Staley making decisions, dude. Terrible.
Yes.
All right, hang on. One more comment, and then we'll get out of here. Oh, John Michael said I'm Nick Sirianni.
Cheers.
Well, here's hoping that changes next week. I mean, you figure got Cleveland next week and then at the Giants. Let's hope the Eagles get it together. I'm not ready to give up on this year yet. I still think there's a lot of football to be played and there's some games to be won. So let's see what happens.
Couldn't agree more, man.
So all right, well listen, we're gonna get out of here. Go Phils. Let's hope we get the good Nola tomorrow night.
Yeah, man.
Go Birds. By the time we're talking, you know, actually there's a really good bet by the time we're talking that game 1 of the NLCS has already been played, and the Eagles hopefully are 3-2. So
yeah, let's go.
All right, we'll see you all next week. Go Birds, go Phils.
Go Birds.
See ya.